artificial intelligence may be the worst or the best thing that ever happened to humankind. Kind of artificial intelligence is the best thing that happened to humankind. For sure, we have a long way to go, and you have to be sure that its place in society should be respected. Artificial intelligence will not be treated as bad, neither as good. It's just a kind of like atomic bomb. You can use nuclear fission to make medical equipment, or you can use it to make war. It depends how you use it. I do believe that artificial intelligence may be here to help us, to support us. Artificial intelligence may be the next revolution, like machine was on the industrial revolution, very important. Artificial intelligence may be our next revolution. Nowadays, artificial intelligence is able to do a considerable amount of work. It has its own limitations, its own scientific limitation, but since it was first created about 15 years ago, it evolved a lot. We now have deep learning, all kind of technique that can be quite useful. Previously, on the previous lives, we were able to talk about how Robocop can show us that artificial intelligence was evolved, how the difference between the first version of the movie was important to understand how artificial intelligence changed. It was talked about Matrix, how Matrix is still not real and how Matrix is still a long way to go. But for sure, this kind of limitation, this kind of difficulties that you have, it's just a way to show that artificial intelligence has a long way to go, but not necessarily that artificial intelligence is limited. It's because the type of intelligence that artificial intelligence is able to give us is not necessarily the humankind. It's not necessarily the way that we expect artificial intelligence to be. Artificial intelligence has its own way to work, and its own way is much more superior than human, such as it's very good to do very repetitive and very calculation-like work. So I do believe that, like Kasparov said in his book after he was defeated by Deep Blue, we need to work together with artificial intelligence. It's not a matter of competition, it's a matter of working together, it's a matter of sharing the work. So any kind of repetitive work may be replaced by artificial intelligence in the future. So artificial intelligence is here to help humankind. Unless we decide to make the stupid move of competing with artificial intelligence, as I heard once, do not stay in the way of artificial intelligence, do not stand in the way of artificial intelligence. Make sure that you work together, that you collaborate. Artificial intelligence has a huge amount of potential. It can help us our full potential of our creativity. It can help us to build a future where human can really use his highest amount of creativity. It goes to music, it goes to engineering, it goes to computer science. So we already see this kind of work. For example, I can do a live right now anywhere using artificial intelligence to make sure that the noise, the background noise of my live will not make people have any kind of discomfort. We can like segment the image. You can create like a background or any kind of image. You can separate tumor from the healthy tissue on biomedical application. So the applications are endless. So I do believe that artificial intelligence is here to stay. I do believe that artificial intelligence is here to help humankind. But I know that if you do not pay attention to how it goes, you do not make sure that it goes in the right way, you may have a big problem. And coming back to Steve Hawking, the second fear that artificial intelligence may be the worst that happens to humankind may happen. We already have some kind of concept that China is building a prison-based artificial intelligence, but we also have other very awesome examples, such as a lot of studies all over the world show how biomedical problems can be solved using artificial intelligence. So I'm very optimistic. On this live, we are going to talk about the exponential growth of artificial intelligence. Always keep in mind that this is part of a book that I'm writing, so your feedback is quite important. So enjoy the show.
Hey guys, hey everyone. Just give me a minute. I always give me a minute. I'm just checking. Right. Always checking the sun. Let's see. I need to make sure that that thing is working fine. Yeah, I think that's working fine. So first of all, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be part of the Tomorrow One Live. So I'm very glad to talk about artificial intelligence, something that I have been working on for quite a while. So I'm very happy to share with you my thoughts and the way I see artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is something very interesting for me. I have been working with artificial intelligence for maybe more than 15 years. The first time I worked with artificial intelligence was on my Bachelor of Engineering. At the time, I was introduced to a very simple artificial intelligence based system, which is called separation of boundary. It's very simple. You just have to separate between one boundary and the other boundary. So the model was a perceptron, very simple perceptron. Perceptron was one of the first models created artificial intelligence. At the time, this model was trying to create separate of boundaries. Today, you have several applications in biomedical engineering in which we're trying to decide whether patient is sick or not. Another application could be to decide whether a website is phishing or not. This kind of application, they are based on classification. They have as final goal to separate between what is good, what's not good, in the sense of information. So today we are going to talk about artificial intelligence and exponential growth. So let's start the show, please. Let me. I'm testing the new. I'm testing this new type of screen. I think it's nice. So you can also let me know whether it's like okay for you. So so today we are going to talk about the exponential, né? We're talking about exponential growth of artificial intelligence. Why I'm using the word exponential growth? Because it was quite fast. If you compare how artificial intelligence evolved with other kind of technology, it was very fast. It was so fast that when I decided to give a break for my PhD, which I was working with white box models, more precisely, I was working with biomathematics. More precisely, I was working with Gremlin dynamic. So when I decided to leave that for a while, I had to give a break on artificial intelligence. When I came back, everything was changed completely. I gave a break maybe for 3 or 4 years as I was doing my PhD. It was not 100% of a break. I still kept working on artificial intelligence. But the point is, that was a very fast movement because deep learning, which is nowadays a revolution, was in about 2012 when the deep learning started to evolve. But if you compare how fast it was quite fast if you make a kind of comparison. The case of Google Translator, Google Image, if you are an outsider of the artificial intelligence community, you may see as a kind of a magic, like the cell phone nowadays, they can recognize your face very fast. You no longer need to type a password. Just show your face. Just show your face to your phone. It's going to recognize you. It's quite impressive if you come to think about it, because if you do not have an experience with artificial intelligence, you may think like it's like very easy, but it was not. The problem of face recognition was a very very difficult problem. It was a problem that took a huge amount of energy from the scientific community. But as deep learning was evolved, it not just deep learning, it was as well. I'm going to leave for you on the description of the video some article I wrote. One of them is why deep learning took so much time to evolve. One of the reasons was software. Today you have much more powerful kind of software, such as GPU, is graphical processing units, which uh, ironically, very fun way to say it was developed initially for it was developed initially for it was initially developed for gaming. then today we have a very powerful way of making numerical calculation. So a very nice citation that I like from the documentary, which I totally recommend the documentary, In the Age of AI. It's a documentary that talks about how AI is like part of our reality today. So in the age of AI, as says Emma Webb, she has a book, a very interesting book I totally recommend. The real practical and wonderful promise is that machine help us to be creative. It's not about competition. Some people talk about competition, some people talk about AI taking their jobs, but most of the jobs of AI, that AI is taking, they are repetitive work, such as drive. They are work that does not take the best of humankind. I always like to play around. I like to joke around that every human is a scientist. The problem is that some people decide not to use it, their scientific side. I think people are afraid of AI, is afraid of the unknown. But AI is not here to take your job unless you decide to stay like stuck in a position. Of course, the market job will change, of course, the government, the country, we have to make some things such as make sure that we cannot keep the same old model of work with artificial intelligence. I mean, there's some people like to call the industry 4.0 because it's the new way of it. The same way that in the past the machine was the revolution, the industrial revolution, AI may create a new kind of revolution, and this kind of revolution must be kept. The attention must be always on this system. So it's not a matter of competition, as Kasparov said when he lost. It's a matter of work together with machines. So as he actually said, it's about creativity because I mean we no longer need to keep thinking about very heavy calculations, making because the human brain is limited. We do not have a limited mental capacity. So when you take away, for example, my PhD was about mathematical models for medicine. So as I always try to make the point, I always try to defend, or I try to defend on my talks, it's not that the AI take the job of the doctor. The AI is going to take the boring work of the doctor. So that kind of work that the doctor do that is very boring, repetitive, they not have to do anymore. So the time that they waste doing a repetitive and meaningless work, they can stay with the patient. So AI is not here to take away the job of the medical doctor. It's not here to take away the job of no one. Just take away the boring, the repetitive, the work that can be described in a very simple algorithm. So anything that can be described in an algorithm will be replaced. I don't think that's a bad news. It's a good news. So in use creativity, can get terrific solutions, such as the case of Go in this documentary. They have the story of Go, how Go was when China decided to go deep on the game. China was defeated on Go, which is a very national game. So they thought, wow, AI defeat me. So the point is that that specific case, they showed that the computer was able to make a move that no human could think. When I was studying evolutionary computation on my bachelor, I remember an example in which AI, because it was a very nice example, because in general, when you have a kind of satellite beam, they use always the classical engineering shape, which you learn in school. They decided to build one using AI. So it was quite mad, but it was much better. The design was not beautiful, but it was much better than the kind of stable and human-like pattern. So AI is able to create solutions that human will never think about it. So that's the reason why AI is not here to destroy your life. AI is not here to make you feel bad. AI is here to support humankind. So that's why we should always keep in mind how important is the work of AI, especially to make us more creative, to make us to think more about important stuff such as our own lives. Of course, we have to change the way that the work works. But I think it's a good news. Maybe one of the turning points of humankind was when Kasparov was defeated by Deep Blue. Deep Blue was a computer. There is a book by Kasparov called Deep Thinking. I totally recommend the book. This Kasparov talked a little bit about his defeat. And the Deep Blue was not artificial intelligence. Today you have the AlphaGo, if I remember well. But Deep Blue was not yet artificial intelligence as you have today. It was brute force. That's why Kasparov was pretty, pretty angry, because if you come to think about it, it was not a very fair fight. So, but nowadays you can see that the fight is fair. It seems that now the AI can defeat several grandmasters at once, which show how powerful AI. But why we should not worry so much about this game? Because chess is a pattern game. It's a combinatorial game. It's different from, for example, a considerable amount of stuff that we do as human. They are not what they call calculation-like game. For you to have an idea, when I was on my bachelor, I did several subjects on my course. They are called combinatorial optimization, which is optimization based on combinatorial problem. Chess was one of them. We had a kind of algorithm that you had to design to play chess. So chess is not a big deal. I mean, it was very important to wake up humankind that the AI was becoming very strong, but chess is not the one that should be worried about. Previously, we have a live called the Why Should Not Fear Terminator, the Terminator of Schwarzenegger. Why should not fear that move, but should still keep attention. Also, because one thing that I brought your attention is that AI should be, there's a book called The Weapon of Mass Destruction. So you have two kind of ways should worry about AI. Should worry about AI as a data set, and should be AI about algorithm. So they have a big discussion about AI in the social media, how AI is making moderation of social media. By the way, I actually for you, I will leave for you a very simple algorithm that I have designed. I have it called the insult bot. It's a very simple algorithm that is able to understand when you try to insult it. It's a very simple algorithm which I have designed. So as you see, it's not like a big deal, but it's a very simple algorithm to design. So so that's the point. So what you should consider about this match between Kasparov and Deep Blue is that this match was not the best of artificial intelligence. It's not the point when artificial intelligence was doing his best. It was just a brute force. But nowadays we have algorithms and have computers that do its best on the game. Steve Hawking, which is not alive anymore. He was, if you do not know who was Steve Hawking, Steve Hawking is, some people say that he's the Albert Einstein of the last Albert Einstein. Steve Hawking once said that AI could be either the best or the worst thing ever happened. So it can be either the worst or the best. I like to think that it was the bad thing, but I do understand that if you do not pay attention how AI is evolving, how AI is applied to humankind, it can be the worst. Because the power of AI, if it's turned against humankind, on the previous live in which I talked about why should not fear, why should not why should not fear the Terminator? Yeah, previously I showed you how you should not fear the Terminator. So the reason why we should not fear the Terminator is because the Terminator, as a matter of fact, is not it's not what is what it may happen. When you say the worst thing, I think not that he's talking about Terminator. When you talk about the worst thing, you don't think about like a machine killing human. But the worst thing that the machine actually can be used for mass destruction, because what machine can do is much faster than what a human can do. So if you were, for example, in the case of fake news is being a threat in self-democracy all over the world. Brazil was one example. Recently, we have an election. It was a very tough time. It's still a very tough time in Brazil. And they used fake news as a way of trying to influence the election. It was the case as well in the United States. So that's artificial intelligence, sadly. Because I feel in that case, they are trying to decide who is going to see what. Sadly, it decides to optimize for emotion, for reaction. So some people say that you should press this kind of organizations, such as Google, Facebook, to make a better optimization of the algorithm, not to optimize to anger and hate. And sadly, nowadays people are living basically online, which means that this kind of algorithm, they have a very impact on everybody's lives. So I think when Steve Hawking said the worst thing that have ever happened to humankind, he was talking about this kind of manipulation, so on. I'm not sure what he meant with that, but that's how I see it. The best thing, in my opinion, is that you can apply to biomedical problems, you can apply to make our life easier, such as intelligent car, you can make use to fight criminals. But sadly, AI is a kind of scientific issue. It's a scientific discovery. If you try to use the nuclear weapon, the fission nuclear, the fission, when Albert Einstein and his other people around his discovered the fission, the nuclear fission, if you try to build the nuclear bomb, it's a choice. But you can use as well the same principle to make nuclear medicine, which is based on the same idea. One is save lives, the other one is going to destroy lives. So it's not a matter of the technology itself. Technology is neutral. AI is not like AI is not built to destroy humankind, but it can be used to destroy humankind, depending how it is used. So what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence, amazing or not, is a set of algorithms. We do not know what's the algorithm. Algorithm is a set of computer commands. It's what you tell the computer to do. So if you tell the computer to go left and right, that's algorithm. If you tell the algorithm to calculate the square root of 9, that's an algorithm. If you tell the algorithm to calculate your month revenue, such as your income and outcome, and see where you have money to spend the next month, that's an algorithm. Now, algorithm is a way that you do repetitive work. So it can happen as well in you. If you decide to write down how you do your job, every day we repeat the same job, that's kind of algorithm. So artificial intelligence is a set of algorithms. The difference between the classical algorithm and the artificial intelligence is how it is able to adapt, to learn. Artificial intelligence is a set of algorithms that's able to adapt, to learn, which means, for example, recently in the Brazilian election, whenever you typed where the thief lives, which in Portuguese means like the thief, this the one that the one that is the stole, the one that's criminal, the Google search would send to Lula da Silva, which was a current president in Brazil. So I mean that machine was able to make an association between a thief and the current president from Brazil. That's why it happened, because it was an election, so people were doing make this association all the time. After the election, it no longer happened, because the machine, where once the election finished, we no longer have this kind of massive amount of association, because AI is about association. So if you have a data set which is not well balanced, huge amount of it. That's one of the issue. The previously we talked about why should not worry about the Terminator, but still should worry about the AI. The risk that if you have a data set which is massively, if not equilibrated, with the equilibrium of the data is not well balanced, such as if you decide to train, it's already known. You can find the literature. There was a case in which they tried to create artificial intelligence for judging, for decide whether someone should go to jail or not. They would put in jail the artificial intelligence mainly black people. Why? Because most of the data sets is based on men and white men. It's already well known, because if you have a data set which is biased, a data set which is not well balanced, the artificial intelligence will be unable to make the proper association. They're going to make the association which is think like this. Every association has a kind of connection, like human. The more you have an example of this connect, the stronger it is. Like a habit in your life. If you have a habit in your life, and you keep repeating the habit, doesn't matter if the habit is good, the habit is bad. It's going to be a habit. It's stronger and stronger. If I keep repeating to you that black people is criminal, sooner or later you're going to believe that. That's how the prejudice is born. The prejudice is born by repetitive daily example of people black being bad. So as once I heard, the best way for you to end your prejudice is to expose yourself to situations with black people is winning, successful. So that's one thing that you should always keep in mind. Let me just keep check here. So so that's one thing that we should always pay attention. We should always pay attention that so artificial intelligence can be badly used. So artificial intelligence is a set of algorithms, simple like that. The difference that they have a kind of a learning principle. They are able to learn like human, according to the situation. It's not necessarily like totally like human, because you have today the narrow artificial intelligence, which is the classical artificial intelligence, and have artificial general intelligence. The artificial general intelligence, they're trying to mimic humankind, like human, like artificial intelligence nowadays, they do not mimic human 100%. They mimic just the ability to learn from experience, to learn from data set. So what does make AI so unique? There are several reasons why AI is unique. One of the reasons is that it's very fast compared to human. The other reason that it has a huge ability to make it, to find pattern, like hidden pattern. Even though have human has a limited. Human is very good at find pattern, but this ability is limited. It's not very powerful as you like to think. As you like to think, we are not as good as AI to make it, to find patterns. So AI is very strong. It's a very pattern finder. The other reason is that it's a very fast way to integrate information, such as you can in real time you make all the kind of association which human cannot do. There are others you can find another way as well. For example, you can say that AI is not biased, unless if you have a data that is not biased. So it's much easier to finish the supposed to have a prejudice, like Google. If you go to Google Image, there's a prejudice on Google Image. They associate an image with black people, like bad hair, they associate with black people, which is a prejudice. But this prejudice can be easily eliminated if you have a balanced data set. So AI is not noise, such as noise. I mean, a human is widely affected by the condition of the moment, such as emotion, political condition, ideology. AI is not affected by that. If it is affected, it can be easily eliminated. Human is very difficult for it to eliminate in a kind of bias, in a kind of direction, so on. So why humans should not fear AI? We have a live previously called "Why Should Not Fear AI" based on the Terminator, the movie Arthur Schwarzenegger, and the big point is that so the big point is that why humans should not fear, because AI is neutral. AI is not like AI is not doesn't have a conscience like AI like you want to kill human. It's just a move. It's like if you see that kind of move in which the snake like anaconda trying to kill someone, it's just a move. The snake is afraid of you as you're afraid of them. The snake they bite you because they are afraid. It's a self-defense mechanism. So generally the snake is going to go away for you. So in very rare occasion, a snake is going to go to kill you, like you see in the movie. Same kind of AI. AI is not AI is neutral. AI is a scientific progress. So it's not a problem of AI, it's a problem of the application of AI. So if you try to apply AI to destroy, to do a mass destruction, it's not a matter of AI, it's a matter of how human decide to use it. So AI is not like it's not created to kill human. It's like the case of anaconda. And in general, in nature, a snake is not going to kill you like he by just decide to kill you like unless there's a specific situation. So you should not fear, and you have have a whole life on that. So I strongly suggest that you see the previous life. So what was the past of AI? AI was initially developed as a kind of algorithm to mimic the brain. It was a perceptron. It was a very simple algorithm. Initially, it was just one perceptron. Then they decided to put in layers, but they have problem to train this model. So for about 20, 30 years, it was silent. Until recently, they developed new ways to train this kind of layers of neurons called deep learning, which was a kind of multi-layer perceptron. So AI, so the past was based on a wish, on a kind of, which are very old. Some people was able to find the artificial intelligence even in the Greek times. So it's not new, the dream of human to learn, to make machine learn. But just recently with the computer, we are able to do that because machine learning is meaningless if you unless you have a computer to remember that the AI is just algorithm, as I said previously. So you need something to make it very fast. So AI cannot be possible unless you have a computer. Computer was the the recipe for AI, and not just computer. It was a high performance computer, which is called high performance computer, GPUs. They are very cheap, relatively cheap, and very fast computer. So AI cannot exist without the technology. So AI is tied to technology. Maybe in the future, even if you improve computer even more, AI will improve and even more. So AI is a set algorithm, but they need. I even heard about the machine learning that's going to learn not just the algorithm. They are able to learn as well on the hardware. The hardware is going to adapt as well as the brain. The brain is a hardware that is able to move and to adapt according to the situation. So the present now is that you have two types of artificial intelligence. They have the narrow artificial intelligence, they have the artificial general intelligence. The difference that one is the narrow artificial intelligence, which is about 90% of the models. They are most of the models, the successful models such as deep learning, they are narrow intelligence. They are able to solve, they are created to solve a specific problem. So they are unable to go out of the problem. They are much better than classical algorithm, but they are still created for a specific problem. So they're narrow. They are created to solve problem. By the way, I have a book called Computational Thinking, which I make a kind of discussion in a more careful way. So uh, so now they have some group there, which is recent, not very old, try to create what they call the artificial general intelligence, but just a promise. The real situation, the real application, the real success nowadays is based on artificial intelligence, which is most of them are artificial neural network. Most of them are supervised artificial neural network. So the future is not clear. By the way, I do have a live called the Why Matrix Not Real, which was the previous live, in which I talk about what may happen if you make another breakthrough on artificial intelligence. This breakthrough, which I mentioned previously in the previous live, has to do with communicating with computer. So the future may be communication with the computer, which I did a very nice live, Professor Kasparov. But for that, you still have a huge amount of to overcome. So it's not very simple to make this kind of future that we want. But we also have artificial general intelligence, which will be machine that is able not just to learn, but is able as well to adapt. I was seeing recently like kind of discussion in which they already have some kind of result, which machine that can gain a kind of self-consciousness, which is not something that you should like human. Then they have philosophical question where the machine is able. There's a very nice move called the Ex Machina, in which they show how a machine was able to gain consciousness. It's a move. It's a fiction. I think you'll have a live about that in the future. If you see the sequence of lives, I think there is a live in which I put in the future for that. So the future of artificial intelligence is a little bit clear because artificial intelligence is very fast. So it's very hard to make predictions of the future because I think it was maybe better than you think, or maybe the worst than you think that you have in the past case of failure, such as the perceptron was a failure initially, but the plan was surprise. So we never know what's going to be. I don't think that I know the future, but you have promised general artificial intelligence. You have promises, as I mentioned previously on the live about Matrix, that you may be able to communicate with the computer, but still just a promise. So the exponential growth of artificial intelligence was a surprise to everyone. I think I work myself, I'm inside the community of artificial intelligence. I was very surprised how fast deep learning moved. So as I said before, it was a sequence of factors such as GPUs, graphical processing units, how fast computers evolved and how cheap they became. because it depends not just because it depends as well how cheap you can implement those algorithms. Now they have a kind of movement. Usually they want to create public APIs, such as I like to use TensorFlow.js, which is Google. There is TensorFlow, which is Python, as well as Google. So all this kind of movement, which they make the artificial intelligence public, make it go very fast because people can use everywhere. So it was a very exponential growth. It was very fast, even for someone that's inside the community of artificial intelligence. So please let me know your thoughts. You can let me know by email. You can let me know by comments. I'm always open. Please make sure that you are aware of the future of the next lives. In the future, we have all the lives. So let me know. So let me see. So please can also let me know a thought. There is a sequence of life in the future. Remember that it's part of an ebook that I'm writing. So your feedback, your comment can help me to write the book. I do believe that artificial intelligence is a very rich field. I have friends that never work with artificial intelligence. As I did my Master of Science with them, but some they decide to say that I'm an expert in artificial intelligence because artificial intelligence is all about mathematics. It's all about the computer science, so anyone can contribute to artificial intelligence. So that I think that's a very amazing field. It's a very amazing opportunity for people to collaborate. Myself, I like to work with medicine, like biomedical problems, biomedical image segmentation, mathematical model applied to medicine. But I know that it has been applied everywhere. Speech recognition. I have seen, sometimes I get surprised how much application we have nowadays. Music, like the drum bot, which I have a video on this channel, which I have a test, it works just fine. It works very well. So it makes me very happy to see how fast AI is evolving. So, guys, I think I went here. As always, you are welcome to let me know your thoughts when you think that's the time. So, see you in the next live.